heard from David about the performance force multiplier and about how hard the buying environment is right now. And it's true, it has gotten a lot harder. Buyers are doing things in a lot of different places and buying groups are bigger. But that has also opened an opportunity. Buyers are sending digital signals in all kinds of ways now. And with AI, we have the opportunity to listen to those signals and even cue actions so that you can act on them in the most appropriate way. At Salesloft, we think it's our job to help you act on these signals and have that performance force multiplier through the innovation that we deliver. And I'll tell you about it a bit today. But our platform is uniquely capable of handling today's buying environment. We put it together to handle everything from prospecting and closing to coaching and forecasting, and even digital activity, as you heard from David. It's really important that you've got all the core capabilities that your sellers need in the same place, and that it is industrial strength. Now to us, a platform is not just a bunch of products get jammed together, usually on the price list, but a platform means something special. A platform means that you've got AI-driven prioritization. So you're bringing the most important actions from all over the platform, whether they're happening in deals or in conversations or in cadences. You're bringing all of that together and putting it in front of the seller. It also means sales-specific workflows, because you need to cue the right action to make sure that you're getting to the outcomes that you want to get to. And sales, as we all know, is a little bit different from other kinds of action. And finally, it means industrial strength, because we serve some of the biggest companies in the world, and selling is complicated. Even if you're a mid-size or a smaller company, selling to small customers is different from selling to big customers. Selling across industries can be different. You may have different states, regions, and so on, and you have different sales motions. You need it to be scalable and secure and performant. And we have focused on that for years. Now, AI is one of those things that we talk about a lot. Anybody here heard of AI? And it does have to be at the core of a revenue orchestration platform. Why? Because there is so much happening across so many buyers and sellers that it's frankly just too much for any one person to kind of parse by themselves. So we use AI to help sellers. But at Salesloft, when we think about AI, we try to go back to the fundamentals. Not just throwing AI out the door to say, check, we threw some AI out the door. We ask 3 fundamental questions, and these are things that we ask in our product teams. This is not set up for this event. These are the questions we ask when we build capabilities. The first is, what can you automate? The truth is that most sellers are doing things they shouldn't be doing. Synthesizing data, reading down reports, typing out follow-ups. There's a bunch of things that you don't need sellers to do, and we can automate those. Where we can automate, we will. But ostensibly, you have hired people because you think people are good at some things, some human things, like connecting with buyers and guiding and strategizing with those buyers. And if you think people are good at those things, you want them to do them. And so we want to leave the human in the loop and let the human leverage those strengths. But when you have human-led activities, you want to augment those people so they're getting the right information, the right data, context, AI at the right moment, putting it into action, and seeing whether or not it works through outcomes. We have been shipping AI in the workflow for years at Salesloft. And of course, that's accelerated recently. But we have a lot of experience working through sales-specific data with our data science team, trying to understand what really works for sellers. And when you see us ship AI, you'll notice a couple of things. It is always rooted in value, in real problems that real people have. We do not do demoware. We don't do slick things because it's slick. We actually try to solve problems, and we watch sellers and managers and RevOps and others work, and we know how ugly that can be. And so we're trying to solve those problems for them. We also make it explainable, because if people don't trust AI, they won't use it, and nor should they, frankly. They need to understand why it's there. In fact, explainability can help you build intuition in newer sellers in your business. One example here, I won't go through all of these, but one example that I love is coaching scorecards that are AI assisted. We were the first in the industry to ship these. Many of you are familiar with scorecards. They're a useful tool. But it's actually not a great use of a manager's time to review every single conversation and score it. What we do is we actually review it with AI and draw out the key moments that we think a manager should pay attention to and give them the opportunity to review that scorecard and then edit it and watch those key moments. Because one of the best uses of a manager is in teaching others. That coaching activity is so valuable. And yes, we can cue a lot of that information for the manager. They shouldn't be pulling it all together. But that connection with the seller is where the learning really happens. Now, talking a lot about AI, I'm a big data person, a big data geek for those of you who know me. And one of the cool things about AI is it just brings us right back to data. AI is only as good as the data it sits on. At Salesloft, we have always had a holistic view of data. And data is really just any interaction between the buyer and the seller. In fact, you can think about this space between the buyer and the seller as a giant collaboration. Not one that happens in a collaboration tool necessarily, but every email, every meeting, every call is a collaboration. And through the life of an opportunity, you see buyers engaging in different ways. You see them maybe out there on the web first, as David talked about, generating buying signals before they even come talk to you. Maybe the first time they talk to you, they're landing on your website. It's a digital-led experience. Right? Maybe they get into a chatbot, like Dress Bionic chatbot, and you start learning about what they're interested in. You use data to qualify them. And now you've taken that champion and put them in a sales-led funnel, in a sales-led activity. But the truth is those digital activities are happening along the way, and you can use them to help the buyers self-serve. Buyers are still on your website even after they're talking to sellers. And they're doing other activities as well. Buyers are bringing members of the buying group into conversations, into meetings. We associate all that activity so that you can understand what's really important with each buyer, build those adaptive buying journeys, even identify new members of the buying group. So how many people know that after a big meeting, usually your buyers go to the website, if it's been a good one, and light up the website? We can see that pattern happen across customers because of the Drift and Salesloft integration. And you can actually see what the buyers are responding to in that meeting. And often you can see a new person that's very important to closing that opportunity, but hasn't shown up yet, show up at that moment. Hey, Drew. So we have to collect all of this data holistically to really understand the engagement and the collaboration between the buyer and the seller. And that data is gold. That data is where you can get through all of the hurdles that you see today, all of those challenges, the great growth squeeze, and get to that performance force multiplier. But you have to be able to use the data. We bring it all together in a sales-specific domain model because it turns out that sales does look different from other domains. Having a sales call is not like having a call about a scientific discovery. It's different. There are objections. There's a one loss that's going to happen at the end of this process. There are decision makers. We can understand all of that and put it in the sales-specific domain model. And then we can use that data and put AI on top of it and give you insights and critically drive action. Because data does you no good if you can't drive action from it. This is where rhythm comes in. We've seen some incredible results from rhythm, and I love what we heard on the customer panel. Rhythm is where you go to find out the most important things popping in your business right now. That's what we designed it for. There are other workflows in Salesloft, and sometimes you're reviewing deals or running cadences or doing something else, but rhythm is where you go to hear about what your buyers are doing and act on it right now, whether they're responding to emails, or you need to go prep for a meeting, or you're getting those third-party signals in. Rhythm is where you take action. Now, we're very excited about this cycle of insight to action driving outcomes. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about it today. Because when you bring those things together, you can solve some of the biggest problems in sales. We have already reinvented what it looks like to be a full cycle seller. But sales managers and RevOps, we hear you as well. It is a tough job. It has been an unsupported job. And typically you're swimming in data and reports, but you still don't know the most important things to coach on or where your business is going. You can't see changes fast enough. And we are using all this data to help you do that now.